Hey, what's going on, everybody? Patrick Rosa here in my garage, in my workshop, and I know people have talked about or shown some of their collections, and I thought I would do the same because it's getting a little out of control, but it's a fun hobby, and I really have enjoyed getting into what all there is to offer. Everything from free wing to FMS to Horizon E-flite stuff. Basically, if it goes fast and looks cool, I like it. So let's see if we can't maybe flip you around and show you the garage. All right, here we are starting out. I'm gonna show you over here, which is the bench where I do, just tinkering small stuff, soldering and whatnot. Right now, I actually had a couple of servos apart and was looking at maybe some issues that I was having in there. Some battery storage and a metal bin up top here. Um, Old models that I built as a kid. Obviously, was a huge Tomcat fan. Loved Top Gun as a kid, so they're kind of all over the place. But starting up here in the corner, I've got an old Hobby King Balsa Bird Dog, Owen Bird Dog, one of the aircraft my father flew in Vietnam. The Horizon Sport Cup S Plus, I believe that's what that's called. That's kind of the wife's airplane. She likes the GPS and land on its own feature. Old E-flite, little 2S0. That thing is a ton of fun to fly. Super light, old EPS foam, but it just really, really a fun little flying airplane. A couple of Hercs hanging in formation. Obviously, got to have some C-130s in the garage. And, oh, wow, the old, I think it's called a Firebird. One of my first RC airplanes ever. Probably back, gosh, maybe 2001-ish, somewhere around there, 2000. First time I ever flew RC, and, second actually airplane was this GWS A10. And I did say second. Yeah, I went from that to that. And needless to say, if you look at the airplane, it is cracked and broken because that's what you don't do. You don't go from a 2-channel airplane to a 4-channel EDF. Yeah, it didn't end pretty. But over here, I've got a couple airplanes that represent some of the stuff that I first flew and got my private license in. So I've got the FMS Ranger, and the Ranger is based on a Cessna 152, which is what I actually got my, started getting my private, I soloed in this airplane, and then I got my private license in the Archer 2 here, Archer 2090 Victor, actually, which eventually this one will have the same paint job and same tail number. On the bench currently is the E-flite's, I think it's the 80 millimeter F-18 Hornet, which recently just made in here. Actually, really nice flying airplane. Not very fast, but super scale looking. Love the gear. It has a awesome sound. Love that about the airplane. Moving on the side over here, I've got the free wing A6 Intruder. This is the old style, old motor. Actually flies really, really well. I kind of like the airplane in its slower state where it just kind of cruises. And actually one of my favorite things to do with this airplane is get about maybe 5-10 feet off the ground and just cruise real low and slow to the ground like an Intruder might have done back in the day. Freewing F5 currently actually getting modified to be a T-38, so you can see that I'm added the second cockpit there, extended the canopy. Took the small leading edge extensions off of the wing and have actually started to round out the intakes to make them more T-38-like. Yeah. And then let's see if I go up on the ceiling here. The Avios C-130. Again, it's a C-130. Kind of have to have one. It's what I fly, so I like having models of it. Quality of this one is, it's okay, but it's a Herc, so I gotta have it. The old Sky Angel 4S, I think it was actually 3S originally, little 50 millimeter EDFs here. One of my first jets actually, back when I started flying EDFs, and really a lot of fun. Like this little airplane. Actually, don't very much get a chance to fly it anymore. Ubex Pitts, which of course is like just a doll to fly. I love that little airplane. It was a gift from my wife, actually, for my birthday a couple years ago. More than a couple, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago now, whatever it was. And I just still really enjoy that airplane. the B-17, and of course the Champ, Hobby Zone Champ. Actually, the Champ was my very first RC airplane that I got back into maybe RC about another 5-6 years ago, and really enjoyed that little Champ, and it kind of is what started this whole mess in this garage here. Volantex glider, which I don't really fly very much. I've got a glider, but don't fly them that often. Not really into them. What else can we do up top here? Let's see. Oh yeah, the old, I believe it's Park Zone, Fokker D1 Albatross. What an awesome flying World War I bird. One of my particular favorites on like a really nice, calm, chilled morning, little mist there. Get that, like, what they call them, the Dawn Patrol. Just an awesome plane for that. AL-37, which I had repaired from someone at the field who had put one in, crashed it, and I had repaired the fuselage, and we've flown it since, but still kind of tweaking it and making it better. Flight test inspired, designed C-130 that I built a couple of years ago, just out of just plans from my head and knowing what the Herc looks like, and it flies okay. That is the Unique Models T6 Texan 2 in a 4S design. Again, that's what I flew for the Air Force for my first airplane, first trainer, and love the Texans. I got to have it in all shapes and sizes. Flight test, that's the, oh gosh, I think it's called the Old Speedster. Fun little airplane to fly, actually, just kind of a cruise around 3S. Nice little light flying airplane. Oh, let's see, Flightline B-24. So this B-24 is actually modeled after my squadron, the 700 Airlift Squadron. Back in World War II, we flew B-24, 700 there, so denoted with the IS for 700th, and Q for the aircraft, and then F for the 445th Bomb Group. And this is Old King Cole, one of our tales from way back then. Pitts S1 from, I think it's E-Flights, fun little flyer. Little rocket ship on 4S, just kind of a fun, easy flying Pitts, which Pitts and easy flying don't usually go hand in hand, but this is a fun one. Of course, the infamous Carbon Z T-28. What a great flying airplane. Probably one of those airplanes, if somebody said you had to get rid of all of them but one, it might be that one. I don't know. It's a great airplane. And the E-Flight Prometheus, another awesome, really fun flying airplane. I kind of got into the 6S stuff maybe 3, 4, maybe even 5 years ago now, and ever since then I've just been trying to find the airplanes that I really enjoy flying in the 6S, and a Pitts is one of them. I really like this. I did have the FMS Pitts prior to this, and I really think E-Flight nailed this one when they came down to a really high aerobatic performance Pitts, and it's a shame that it's no longer production. It's a great flying airplane. This is the FMS 70mm T-45 Goshawk. Not a bad little jet. Kind of a fun little throw-around jet. Maybe fly for a fun fly, do a limbo with it, that kind of thing. Of course, the Freewing MiG-21, which is one of my all-time favorites. This jet just flies beautifully. I don't use a gyro in this one. I love the way it cruises, and that longitudinal body just is so keeps the airplane tracking straight so well. I love it. L-39 Albatross, of course, 80 mil. Great, another Freewing jet there. Below that is a plane that I'm in the process of going through and is going to build. I believe that is not VQ models. I can't even remember now. I don't know if it's VQ or Phoenix. That's what it is. Phoenix models Stuka, which eventually will have the same power plant as what I put in the Texan, which is the Carbon Z T-28's internals. Of course, the flex jets. This is the non-vector thrust flex jet. Great flying jet. In fact, it's one of those jets that if I know the winds are going to be more than about 10 miles an hour, I usually just throw this thing in the car because it handles wind like a champ. Freewing T-33, obviously, the new T-33. This one will eventually be getting the Thunderbirds paint scheme because I am kind of a sucker for the Thunderbirds paint jobs. Back in the corner there, kind of hard to see, way down in there is the FMS Beaver. And I have this FMS Beaver painted up in the Army paint scheme from Vietnam. Again, another aircraft my father flew in Vietnam. the U-10, I'm sorry, U-6 Beaver, I think is what they refer to it as in the Army, U-6. Of course, P-40 FMS, awesome flying airplane. This one here, this is a VQ Models Val, and I put all the internals from the Freewings Old Crow. It's got a 1610 prop, flies on a 4S, and this thing just flies beautifully. Looks great, sounds great, gets slow. I mean, everything you could imagine in a Warbird, this airplane does, and does it really, really nice. So if you're into wood models, and if you're into good quality product, really, honestly, VQ Models Val, put some Freewing Old Crow stuff in it, and the airplane will fly spectacularly. Of course, the Flightline Spitfire 1600 millimeters. Nothing, you don't have to say anything about the airplane. It's awesome. Same with the Corsair, another just a winner from start to finish. The FMS 1.7 millimeter red tail P-51. They've been around a long time, and I know guys have kind of given some of them a bad rap because, you know, FMS at the time had some lesser quality product putting out, but there's something to be said for a big Mustang like this. It looks great, it flies great. I could go for a little better quality on product as far as, you know, servos and whatnot, but yeah, it's still a great flying airplane. Of course, Flightline's little P-51, just a screamer, little rocket ship, fun airplane to get out there and just tear it up with some buddies with. Further on down the line, the HSD 105 F-16, great flying F-16. Definitely is an airplane that you kind of have to work flying at a small field like I do, but I love the scale gear and I love the size of it. It's just a good jet. The Havoc Racer, another fun, quick, easy airplane tossed in the air from Motion. And then, of course, the E-Flights 4S F-15, I think based on the FMS F-15. But, man, they really nailed and dialed in the gyro and receiver for that airplane. So if you can pick one up just to throw it in the back of the car and go fly it, I do it. It's a great flying little jet. The V900 there in the back, I think you can see it behind there. Rip-roaring, fastest thing I think I have put in the sky with electrics. It is quick. If you have a chance to grab one because you love to go fast, it's worth it. And then, of course, we get down to brass tacks, right? The Freewing F-22, probably my favorite jet to fly. It's one of those airplanes that I think, man, if it's windy, if it's not windy, if it's sunny, if it's cloudy, it doesn't matter. That jet does it all. It is amazing to fly. And this is just the 6S standard stock Outrunner 9-blade. It's just, God, it flies slow, it flies fast. You can hover it. I've been working really hard to mimic the F-22 demo. Was doing some of the air show circuit this year, and got to hang out with Lobo, which is the guy who flew the 22 demo of the last couple of years, and been working on trying to nail down his routine in my flying, but just a great flying jet. And of course, the Freewing 90mm F-16. This one has the Inrunner power system in it, which I highly recommend if you're going to go fly the older model 90mm like this F-16 and the F-15. They really do better with the Inrunners in it. Great flying, good-looking models. Of course, the E-Flights 70mm F-16. Like I said, I'm a sucker for a Thunderbird. So when they came out with this one, I was like, yep, gotta have it. Great little flying jet. Super easy in the wind. Super easy to throw in the back of the car. You know, I think I use a 4000 6S in it, and it just flies great. Freewings A4, which I painted up into the Blue Angels, and I based it on the color scheme. A lot of guys are like, yours is like brighter than what I've seen. I based my color scheme off of the A4s that are in the Pensacola Museum, hanging in the back of the museum. I know I've seen pictures where they look darker, but a lot of times I've seen that it looks like the film or the pictures that you're seeing is actually degraded over time, giving you a darker image of what the blues look like. If you go look at Pensacola's Air Museum, they are this bright blue. It's gorgeous. And then, of course, Freewings F-18 and the Blue Angel. Again, a sucker for the demo teams. I love the old demo teams. The venerable Tomcat. You gotta love Freewings Tomcat. It's starting to get a little long in the tooth now when it comes to power. I think the new 80mm would be a great system to put in this jet, but I mean, who doesn't love a Tomcat? Who doesn't love a swing wing, right? And of course the Black Horse PC-9, which I converted to my Texan. Love this airplane. My favorite part, honestly, is the guy inside there. My friends tell me I'm playing with dolls, but I don't care. It's awesome. He looks great in there. And I think getting back to this side here, another Tomcat. Yes, I am obsessed with Tomcats. I can't help it. I saw one and I thought, man, I got to pick another one up from a local member of the club. And the SU-30 from E-flite. As you can see, side by side, look at next to the Tomcat. They're essentially the same size airplane. And I will tell you, if somebody said, which would you recommend, the Tomcat or the SU-30, I might have to say the SU-30. It not as quick. It's not a quick jet, but it definitely flies really, really well. Just a super easy flying jet for its size. Yeah. And of course, I guess I can't leave out the LX models F-117 Stealth Fighter. One that I put together. It was just a kit. It was just the airframe itself. And I bought free wing components and put them all in. Free wing servos and free wing gear. It's actually the gear out of the free wing 64mm 810 fit this thing perfectly. And I got that from the forums there, because the RC group forums. Some guys were talking about how those gear are a perfect fit. And I've actually got it on the 70mm 4S system. So this flies on a 4030C, I think it is, maybe a little bit more, 40C, something like that, but it's a 4000 4S system. And it's not bad. It's definitely not a rocket ship. It's one of those airplanes that you fly it for the cool factor. It's a stealth fighter, you know? Yeah. All right, guys, so that was a quick tour of my garage. As you can see, just a huge fan of RC and love flying anything that looks cool and goes fast, like I said. And hopefully you enjoyed checking out what I've got. Talk to you guys soon.